very compact session today, so maybe I will start. People will still continue logging in, but anyway, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us in today's session. My name is Lan, and we are joined by our friends today from Amadeus, and they will be able to answer some of your burning questions like what is GDS? How does it look like? How can we improve our visibility to the travel agents, to the TMCs and consortia? What are the different ways that we can advertise our property in this platform? And basically, the real question here is how can we as a hotel maximize our the benefits that this platform can give our hotel? But before we jump into that, let me just give some reminders for the entire session. So for the participants, if you can please let us stay on mute while the speakers are presenting. And then if you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to put that in the chat and those will be addressed by the team at the end of that session. And during that time as well, you can unmute yourself and ask the question directly to the team. And just a last reminder, be comfortable, drink your coffee, and stay alert with us for the next 1 hour and a half. So that said, I will introduce our first speaker, Mr. Nadim Sadiq Pinara, who is the Regional Director for Middle East and Africa in Amadeus. Nadim, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Len. So firstly, good afternoon and good morning to everyone who's joining here today. Thank you very much for coming in. It really means a lot to us to have you all on a single platform. And what we are going to go through today is, as Len said, a very action-packed or information-packed kind of an agenda. Firstly, I would just like to give a brief introduction about myself. I have been in the travel technology industry for the past 15 years, prior to which I was just like all of you guys on the call. I was a hotelier as well. And now it's all about travel technology for me. We also have on the call our team members, Mr. Jem, who is the legend of Middle East. He's been with TravelClick and Amadeus for the past 20 plus years. And he's on the call with us. Then as well, our presenters, Mrs. Ines Healy, who is our Director of Business Intelligence, and she will be taking us through Agency 360 Plus, as well as Demand 360 Plus, both the platforms very briefly to show you what is new in those platforms and how you can make the best out of it by either subscribing or by using it if you already have an existing subscription. Then Dumitru, our renewal sales manager for India, Middle East, Africa, and Turkey region, will take us through a live demo of the GDS screen. So many of us, when we are sitting in the hotels, we rarely know how a GDS looks like, how a travel agent navigates through the GDS. So this is our aim today, that we will try to make sure that you see how your hotel appears on the GDS, how a travel agent looks at your hotel, and what else can you do to try and increase your visibility on the platform. Then as well as Maribel, who has joined us newly in the team about 7 months ago. She is based out of Dubai and she is a sales manager based in the UAE office as well. So this is our agenda. It'll start with me and then we will hand it over to Ines. And we will have short Q&As in between, as Len has mentioned. You can type in your questions in the chat as and when we go through the presentation. We'll be more than happy to address them during the Q&A sessions at the end of each and every section. So to start with, the first, a brief introduction about Amadeus as an organization. We are a company that is committed to make travel better for everyone everywhere by inspiring innovation, partnerships, and a lot of responsibility for our people, the places, and the entire planet. What we do as an organization is that Amadeus connects the entire travel ecosystem from the travel providers to the travel sellers. And we do so through a very significant portfolio of solutions that we offer throughout the entire travel community. So if you see on the screen right now, you can see that we provide solutions to each and every area of the travel industry. And this is what helps us provide a much more diversified systems to a diversified community, and also to actually uh, connect those systems for different areas of travel to make them better. Over the past, again, one of the things that I did not mention is that we do this through a very big team of techies who are also very passionate about travel. And we have our offices and employees and or our team based out of multiple locations around the globe. So wherever you are around the world, wherever you are interested in Amadeus services or solutions, you will always find someone who can help you and assist you in anything. Over the past 35 years, the most important players in the travel industry have come to trust us and rely on our Amadeus solutions and products for their critical services that they require from us. Um, Even during COVID, Amadeus had invested a huge amount of 40, or let's say a 40% of our entire revenue went towards research and development. During a time when everyone else was pulling out their investments from multiple areas, Amadeus was investing in multiple areas simply so that we could make and meet the challenges that will come up to the travel industry right after the COVID has been conquered or taken over by all of us as a community. A few of the challenges that we are very much striving forward to resolving and still working towards resolving are the fragmentation of data and technology, the lack of time and staff, which I'm sure you as hoteliers know it better than us, how it affects your day-to-day operations and the services that you provide to your customers. And then the ever-changing channel mix, which is constantly evolving as and when each year passes by, and how we are seeing different types of travelers coming in, different tribes of travelers. How do we target the new generation of travelers? How can we make travel better and more affordable for them as well? We do this through a huge portfolio of tourism products or solutions. As you can see on the screen, Amadeus has combined a very comprehensive portfolio where we can assist hotels not only in intelligence, but also in marketing and media, as well as in operations and distribution services. So we are almost at the heart of the entire industry at the moment when it comes to travel technology. It's the largest portfolio of any that any organization has of combined solutions for a single industry. Uh, we are present as a company on every stage of a shopping experience, or every touch point of a traveler. So from a dream and planning stage to through a shopping and booking stage, at every stage, Amadeus provides some of the other services or solutions to the providers or the sellers, where we are able to make the experience much better. We are very honored to serve brands and companies and destinations of all segments and sizes globally. And as you can see on the screen, we do not only work with hotel brands, we also work with a lot of destination marketing organizations, mid-sized brands, and also with a lot of travel agencies and services or solutions providers. With this, we come to the last slide of Amadeus as your partner. What is next for Amadeus is very simple, that we are very focused on innovation for the travel industry. We are constantly doing research and development to see how we can make the technology better for hoteliers and for the travelers. On the other side, we are taking a very strong ecosystem approach where our entire portfolio of products can be combined to provide hotels with a single solution. And this is where most of the hotels are heading towards, to look for a single solution which can serve all their needs and requirements. All of this taken into account, we are very strongly trying to make sure that everything that we provide is more sustainable, and so that we can keep travel for good within our industry. So with this, I thank you, and I hand it over to my colleague Ines to share her screen so that she could take us through a live demo of Demand 360 Plus. And Ines, over to you.
Ines, you're on mute.
Oops. Thank you. Sorry. I wanted to, the first thing I thought I need to remember I mute myself. My apologies. It always happens. So, thank you so much. Again, I'm Ines Healy, based in Barcelona, coming from Legacy TravelClick, 20 years in the company, a hotelier before that, and thank you so much for hosting me today. So, this is our platform, and align with what Nadine just said. Ecosystem is a word today because, you know, working in different platforms, especially if you're looking after more than one property, it can be a mess. So what we have created in Amadeus, it's a platform, an ecosystem where you can take information, you can use information, you can apply this information, you can jump from property to property if you need, you can jump from report to report if you need to have a big picture on where you are sitting, where your competition is sitting, where opportunities lie, which are the right customers to go after, when it's the right timing to go after that customer. How many times you have sat in and said, okay, I'm going every day and I'm not sure where am I going, and to sit for a minute and have my plan, have everything straight up. So this tool is what exactly, it's exactly what is going to help you getting into that right customer, so you can get into that wheel of the right customer at the right time, the right pricing that rings a bell. And if you're a sales manager, same thing, getting to know which is the right business for you, who are the right buyers. That can certainly make your life significantly easier. And that's why we created this full environment. And today we're going to go through two platforms that are quite interesting, Agency and Demand. And Demand is the first one. And let me explain you how it works. Imagine that we are connecting 44,000 hotels worldwide. We can connect your hotel straight from your PMS, receive the data into this platform, and provide you with occupancy information of your hotel and your competition. But that's not enough. That's just the start. Here, this is the start where we are telling you where you are sitting into the future, but especially letting you know how you're doing from the basic breakdowns of segments and channels. And this is just our customer portal. So what if I am telling you, you know what, everything that you have in here, every picture of yourself can be mixed with your competitions. And that is what the Demand 360 does. Every single night, we connect with 44,000 hotels worldwide. And we connect into their PMSs and we pull up every information in terms of transactions without guest names. That allows us to have every single night a picture on what you and your competition, your defined competition, is doing, providing your competitors are also part of our platform. But that's not the end. The interesting piece comes up when you know where business is happening. And this business happening can be by segments, can be by channels. You can have different views. You can have different pieces of information. Now, the interesting piece is that you can go 1 year in the future and you can go back up till January 2019. And how does that help me? It helps me understanding how am I pacing against my competition from different points of view? And let me show you very, very quickly a little bit of a picture on the live report. This is a demo site with live information updated just 2 days ago. We need 2 days to clean up all of this data. And we give you this picture of your hotel against your competition, how much money they're picking up, how much they're growing, and you are growing year on year, your occupancy, your ADR, your RevPAR, and how you're indexing against your competition. How valuable is that? But even more valuable it is when we go down into segments. Do you remember when we were coming out of COVID and exactly to Nadim's point earlier, business was changing. We didn't know where business was coming from, where this was the tool where you could start understanding where business is coming from. It is about individual guests or it's about groups. And if it's about individual guests, I want to know more about it. I want to know exactly what kind of businesses. And I want to know which are the ADRs that worked better or worse for me. So here, along with occupancy, you do, and along with segments, you have ADR, you have RevPAR, you have anything you want to see. But obviously, the other side of a picture is understanding what's happening into my channels and my competition's channels. And let me give you an example. There was a colleague in Muscat opening a hotel. So probably you will not have occupancy information until you start trading. But what if I tell you that you can connect today into this platform and see what's happening in your competition, see which are the segments, understand which are the channels, which are the pricing that works the best for perhaps just your competition, even if you don't have it. You can look at different time frames. You can say, okay, which is the segment or the channel that brought me the most? Which are the price tiers that sold? And actually, we have visual and color-coded alerts for you to pick up and very quickly understand. These are the rate ranges. 468 to 520 that I have been most successful against my competition, and how many room types, how many rooms have I picked? When did this business come? Have I sold more groups or individual guests? This is a place where you can tell in at one glance how you're sitting and against your competition for up to a year into the future, from a monthly, a weekly, a daily perspective. And you can make it as simple as, February, I have 6% of occupancy from groups that have already been sold. I have blocks, unconfirmed groups, cruise, not yet confirmed, 9%. And I have transient businesses, non-groups of 16%, whereas my competition is way behind. And I have more confirmed business than my competition. But what happens into the future? What happens if I want to look at specific week? What happens if I look at specific date? This is something that you can sit right in front of your team, plan when you're responding an RFP, plan in advance for you, evaluate what happened in the past, find out cases like this. If I were obviously for February, quite likely I might not get it. But if you see the columns, my hotel is blue, my competition is green. So at one glance, if I get an RFP or a group meeting request for these days where I'm so high against my competition, perhaps I can say, you know what, instead of trying to pitch for these dates where I really don't need that business, perhaps I will go into these shoulder dates. So you can very easily and visually and strategically build up the right business for you. Of course, if you're more a number person than a graph person, right in front of you, every single number you wanna have it in front of you. Do you want to look at how you closed against your competition? You want to view pretty much everything. The interesting piece is that in our report, you can keep it very, very simple and very basic, or you can go into reports. You can look at different periods of time. You can compare to different time frames. You can focus on anything that you want, or any segment and any channel. And you can use this report just as I am doing, asking the tool, show me this, show me that, give me a good understanding on how I have performed, or how am I picking up, where business is coming, which are the segments or the channels that are driving more business. Am I running a campaign? Am I even planning to run a campaign? How do I know which is the right segment or the right channel to look at? How do I monitor that? This is a tool for revenue. This is a tool for sales. This is a tool for e-commerce, and obviously a tool to provide a very good high-level visualization on how I am performing, but especially how my competition it is doing, and where, and probably the most important thing out of this and all our reports, where I can steal business from my competition. I cannot imagine opening a hotel without having this understanding, which are the price points that are interesting or that are that produce revenue into my competition. Go back in time and dig into their numbers. Respond an RFP or a group query without knowing the occupancy, the pickup, how much business there is into my competition. Certainly any group business that you pick, or any group business that you pick at a higher price, will definitely pay out this report. And I think I'm not going to go ahead with more details. I have all kind of details, but I want to check if there's any query from the team.
We did have a lot, Ines. So
Oh.
on the chat, some of them Nadim had already responded to, but I'll leave some of them to you as well. It's all in the chat.
Okay, perfect. So do you want to perhaps shift to let me stop sharing.
I can read the questions for you.
Okay, or if you want, what we can do is I can answer the questions whilst Dumitru presents his part, and those questions that are long, I can leave it till the end of the call, so we don't delay everyone else's. And I want to be conscious of time. If that's okay with you.
Sure. Just go on the chat then. Thanks, Ines.
Perfect. Thank you. Nadim, Dumi, back to you.
So, okay, now the next part that we are going to look into is basically the live GDS screens, and followed by which we will also look into Agency 360 Plus. So Dumitru is actually going to share his screen and show you how an actual Amadeus GDS looks like, and how a travel agent serves, looks for flights, looks for hotels, and the screen itself. Thank you. Over to you, Dumi.
Thank you very much, Nadim. Thank you as well, Ines, for such a nice presentation. Always, I'm trying to put myself in the hotelier's shoes just to understand how do I need to plan sometimes my my strategy, right, for the hotel. And with the Demand 360, I think this is one of the best tools to have the real data for your property and your competition, and just to make sure that you are taking the best out of it to make sure that your strategy is well planned. So in my case, my name is Dumitru Dorosh. I'm going to present for you the GDS platform, how this is being used by the travel agencies. I'm going to emulate the travel agency access. As you can see, this is a web platform. Originally, the Amadeus originally was a web was an installed program, but with the time it was developed to make sure that it can be also accessed from any device with the internet connection. So I'm going to access now the Amadeus selling platform, which is Amadeus GDS platform. Just a moment. And while the page is opening, so in Amadeus GDS, you can perform different type of searches. So you can look for the flight searches, hotel searches to book the hotels, to book the flights, and car rentals. So in the main page, you have the booking file. So you can log a passenger name. So you can log a new passenger profile. Look for the hotels, look for the flights, look for the hotels, car rentals. On the right side, you can see that you can create profiles for the travelers, groups, agencies, and companies. So when talking about the journey, when it comes to the travel agency, so initially the travel agency, what they do, so they go and look for the flights based on their requests. And I'm just going to quickly show you how this is being done. Okay, so I'm going to click on the air search and to display you the flight search page. I'm going to just emulate a type of search, let's say from Johannesburg to Dubai, and a flight back for another date, right? I'm going to click on the search, non-stop flights. Let's take it as an example. Sorry, from Dubai to Johannesburg. Okay, like this. So as you can see, this is how the screen shows. You have different type of flights for the days that we are looking at. What is important to understand here is that normally here on the right side, we also have a banner. We will see this banner on the hotel search, but this banner is also being displayed on the flight search. This is important to know because when the travel agency is performing their booking, you can influence with different type of messages, different type of banners in order to influence to book your property when they look to book the market for a specific date, right? So let me go to the main page, and in this particular case, we will go through the hotel search, which is very important in our case. In this page, I'm going to show you how the hotels are being displayed, how many properties are being showing in the list. For example, I'm going to let me pick up a market like Dubai market. In the search bar, we have different options. As you can see, we have the Dubai market as a city center reference. Then we have the airports. Depending on how we search for that specific market, this is how the hotel is going to display in terms of the distance. For example, I'm going to pick up the city center. And for the check-in dates, let me check in for tomorrow for one night. And then we can add more nights if we are interested in. We can add more rooms. And we have the advanced criteria. Advanced criteria, it's an important part because it picks up different type of information from the hotel side. So imagine that your property has an assigned category like a tourist class, standard class, first class, luxury class, and so on. So the travel agencies can filter their search based on their needs. By default, all the criteria are marked as to be searched, right? And then we have the sources. So in the sources, we can pick up different hotel brands. For example, even the Accor, we can take the Accor, right? And look for a specific amount of Accor property for the market to book. There are travel agencies which have a negotiated rate probably with the Accor or any other brands. So they just can pick the source to be Accor, let's say, the hotel chain code, and only those properties are going to be displayed. Then we have the facilities. When it comes to the facilities, it's similar to other searches criteria, right? So when the travel agencies are looking to book the market, they also take in consideration what kind of criteria is required by their guests, right? Which are booking for those specific markets. If you are missing any of the criteria at any of the facilities at your hotel profile, it might be that you may lose some opportunities. And we will go to a specific hotels. We will take as an example a little bit later, so you could see how the property looks in the GDS. By default, the maximum radius that we are looking at, as in our case, it's the city reference is 25 kilometers, but it can be expanded to 50 kilometers. Then we can filter, apply the filter based on the hotel name, based on the published rates. There are different rate plan codes that are available and can be filtered in our search, in our advanced search, different price ranges. If there is an allocated budget to look, for example, from the price range A to B and so on, and for the negotiated rates. Because in my case, I'm just emulating a travel agency profile. Obviously, I'm not able to look for the negotiated rates, but the travel agencies, for example, if they have negotiated specific rates with the properties or with the hotel chain, they can look for those properties that have the negotiated rates assigned. Okay, so I'm just going to click on the search button. And by the way, we have two types of screens. These screens that I'm showing to you, this is the graphical screens. And we also have the command screen, which is also called the cryptic screen. I'm going to show you the cryptic screen a little bit later. So this is how the hotels look like. It looks, because due to the latest enhancements, it looks like an OTA. And all the properties are displaying on our list with different information, right? We have the hotel name, we have the rating for the property, the location, the distance. In our case, it's city center. If I would have chosen the Dubai airport as a reference, we would have seen the distance to be from the airport to the property, right? And then we have the chain name, the facilities. As you may see, some of the properties have more than eight facilities available. Some of them have less. And we will identify those opportunities a little bit later, how you can improve it in order to adjust it and make sure that you are not missing any bookings out of missing those facilities. And the lowest available rate per night, as you can see here on the right side. In this page, you can see that this is basically the business visit card for a property. So it's important. It's very important to show all the details that can attract a travel agency in order to book your property. If you are missing the photos, you are missing it might be that you can be influence the travel agencies to go to book another property. So in our case, we have 321 properties showing in Dubai market. So if I'm going to it's also important to know that Amadeus has made the tool to give the opportunity to any single property to be bookable, right? To have the opportunity to receive the bookings. And how it works. So basically, all the hotels are rotating within the list on different searches. So one time, if you are performing the search, it might be that, let's say, this Paramount Hotel Middletown could appear within the middle of the list, right? Sometimes at the bottom of the list, sometimes at the top. But within the top of the list that we can see here appears only the preferred placement subscriptions. So what does it mean? So basically, this is a paid subscription that are being provided by Amadeus. And you can subscribe to it to any time, always when we have available slots for your interested market. And you can subscribe to appear on the top of the list. And imagine that we have 10 properties subscribed to preferred placement in Dubai market, right? This is just an example. So what happens is that when the travel agency is looking to book the market, they will see, first of all, the 10 properties which are rotating within the 10 places in the list, and only after these 10 hotels will appear the rest of the properties which are non-preferred placement subscribers, and they are rotating within the list on the bottom, right? Then on the right side, there is a different option that we can influence the booking. So here, as you can see, this is a GDS media banner. This is a graphical banner. There are different properties which are promoting themselves with different type of photos, different type of messages that you can attract the travel agencies in order to book your property and not to book your competition. By the way, Amadeus can also use the Agency 360 data. Ines will talk about the Agency 360 a little bit later. Can use the Agency 360 data to target specific travel agencies based on their pseudo city codes from the GDS, right? So we can identify which are those travel agencies booking your competition, and we can target those travel agencies specifically with your interested messages and graphical banners. On the left side on the screen, we have some filters that we can apply. So more or less, there are very similar filters that we have seen in the advanced search criteria. So basically, we can choose here the hotel category between tourist, standard, first, luxury. We can choose the distance. At this point, in our list of 331 hotels, which is being displayed here, are with the distance from the city center to 28 miles. If I'm going to click on all, because these are obviously not all the properties in the market, so let me click on the all button, it will display more properties. It will refresh a little bit later, and it will display more properties. Then we have the location, the hotel chain. Imagine that if you have a negotiated rate with a travel agency only for your hotel chain, then this travel agency can come here and filter based on your hotel chain. And also the important part here, if you are promoting your property, so you display the banner for your property, the travel agency is interested to book your property. They can also normally come here, put the hotel name in the hotel search, and only they will see your property and none of your competitors. Then we have the facilities, just in case any of the travel agencies have a specific criteria to make sure that the Wi-Fi is available at the property, air conditioning, or probably parking or gym or any other facilities. So they can come and filter those properties which are displaying those facilities on their hotel profile. Basically, these facilities are activated for your hotel profile. Then we have the option to look for the best available rate and negotiated rate. In my case, as I have mentioned, I don't have access to the negotiated rate. This is also quite sensitive information for each type of hotel chain and individual properties. And this is why we cannot display it here and put a specific budget for the bookings. If you don't mind, in this particular case, I'm going to take as an example one of your competitors, for example, in Dubai market, because this data is publicly available for the travel agencies, and anyone basically have access to this hotel data. And we will navigate a little bit how the hotel displays and what data we can find at the hotel profile.
So just to add, Dumitru, to this is that after the presentation, when we send out our documents to Len, we would also be adding a presentation which includes all the best practices that each hotel can apply towards improving their GDS profiles. And that's one of the reasons why we are showing this, so that you have an idea why it is so important for you to have a clean presence on the GDS with all your with all your boxes ticked, and also how you can enhance and increase your presence in front of a travel agent to drive more GDS business. Please, Dumi. Sorry.
Yes, thank you very much, Nadim. This is absolutely correct. So this is the presentation that we are going to share with you later. This is basically the information about how the property, basically these are our best practices, how to configure well your property to make sure that you are not losing any opportunities from the, let's say, organic search. So we have the organic search, and then we can influence the bookings through the GDS media, through the preferred placement, which bring very good results And we have even Accor properties which are subscribing for and renewing for quite a lot of years by seeing such a good results over the years. So on the hotel profile, we have different tabs here. So I'm going to go through the first one, which is the summary. But first, I just wanted to display for you the information that here we can see the property name, the property code with the chain code assigned. Okay, so for example, in this for the Radisson hotels, it's RD, and then we have the ratings. So when it comes to the ratings, it is important to know that we have different type of ratings. We have the North Star rating, OSG rating, AAA Diamond rating, mobile rating. Mobile rating is also known as Forbes Travel Guide rating, and we have the local rating. So this type of ratings classify the hotels based on their quality and amenities. So the North Star rating refers to the North Star hotel classification system. So it has been an industry standard for decades, and then it has been used in numerous travel publications. And then we have for example, the AAA Diamond rating. So the AAA Diamond rating is mostly used in the United States, Canada, Mexico, and Caribbean. So basically, it's this type of organization sends out anonymous reviewers to the hotel to rate properties based on their AAA member priorities. And one of the key difference between this type of ratings is the criteria used to evaluate hotels. For example, the AAA Diamond rating system evaluates property based on the cleanliness, comfort, and hospitality, while the Forbes Travel Guide rating or the mobile rating is focuses on services, facilities, and guest experience. On the right side, we have the main property photo. So it's very important to have normally we recommend to have the outside building of your property showing basically if you have some beautiful views, for example, if you have a pool, if you have beautiful views for the city, to have it displaying on the main page, on the main photo. On the bottom, we have the summary. So basically this is the summary for your hotel. It's important to make it short, but very clear and attractive at the same time. We have the languages spoken. So the languages that can be spoken at the property, just in case there are any guests coming from, let's say, from France, right? So they just want to make sure that if someone is not speaking English, so they just need to make sure that they will be attending in French just for any cases. The number of available rooms for your hotel, the check-in, check-out time, payment methods. And here we are talking about the amenities that we were talking before. So in some of the cases, there are properties which are, these amenities are grayed out. For example, as for the case for the pets accepted. So in this particular case, we know that the pets are not accepted, but the other amenities are available. And when the travel agency are looking to search for the market, if they are filtered based on the meeting rooms, business center, because we know that the business coming from the GDS doesn't bring only the hotel guests staying at your property, but it can bring a lot of more volume because they have allocated budget coming from the company, and it brings more revenue to the hotel. So this is why it is very important to make sure that everything is well configured. Going to the hotel details. If any of you were in a meeting with me before, because you were subscribed to a preferred placement subscription, probably. So I'm in the majority of the cases, I'm trying to force my message to make sure that the phone contact details, the email address is present. In this particular case, for this property, the email is missing, right? Imagine that if there is any travel agency which is interested to send you an RFP or to negotiate a specific rate with you, and you are missing the email address and you are missing the phone contact details, they are not able to contact you. They may need to go and search for example, in Google, how to contact your property, and to make sure that they reach you somehow. This is why it's very important to have these contact details here. And these are basically the basics that I wanted to show you. Here in this page, We also have the category local attractions. Local attractions, we have the on-site and off-site. We recommend to add as much reference points, point of reference here on the bottom. For example, we have from your property to those reference points, for example, to the companies which are located in your area, museums, shopping centers, sports centers. And the recommendations is to have them at a maximum of 30 kilometers, because we need to make sure that the traveler is traveling to that reference points and is coming back to your property within the same day. Okay, so this is why we have this as a best practice to be the 30 kilometers as the reference points. And then we have the policies, cancellations policies, a lot of information that is feeding directly from your CRS, okay, into the GDS in the majority of the cases. And all this data is displaying here. Okay, I'm just quickly scrolling here just to show you the information, because I'm very limited on time. So I just want to give the opportunity to Ines to speak about the Agency 360, which is not less important. But I'm going to quickly show you as well the photos. We recommend 15 to 30 photos to make sure that these photos are bringing value to your property, okay, that you attract the travel agencies. The order of these photos, how they are displaying, it is very important to make sure that first of all, the main photo is your property building. The second one probably is the lobby, restaurant, so meeting centers, probably gym, the rooms are being displayed, but not more than 30, because the travel agencies are not spending more than 10 minutes to perform a reservation for the booking flight and for the hotel, to book a hotel. And then we have the location. So it's very important also to make sure that the location is accurate. And then we have the room and rates. So the room and rates, this is how this is displaying. More or less, it looks like a little bit like an OTA, right? That you can choose between different type of rates and to book a specific room. Nadim, I guess that I'm a little bit out of time, right?
No, not really, Dumitru. You're right on time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much then. And in case you may have any other questions related to the GDS configuration, let me know anytime. I would be more than happy to assist you and to guide you a little bit how you can improve your performance also through the preferred placement programs or even GDS media.
Thank you, Dumitru. As we have seen that it is very important on the GDS to make sure that your rooms, your rates, and your description, your images, the amenities of your hotel, the facilities that you provide are all highlighted correctly and accurately to a travel agent, because all of this affect the search criteria. All of these are connected to the search criteria of a travel agent, and more so when a travel agent is looking for a negotiated rate business. These criteria do also affect. On top of that, once you have done all of this and you would like to know how you can increase your business, how you can drive more business through the GDS, we would be more than happy to get onto calls and discuss with you on how what all different actions can be taken that will increase or enhance your presence onto the GDS screen. Now, the main important part. Yeah, sure, Jimmy.
If I may add something small, so I saw the GDS audit question. Nadim has replied, yes, we don't do that because it's not our business. But in the case of if you are interested on GDS media, while we are doing implementing the GDS media, we do this and we let you know. Still, if you're going to go for all the content and etc., it is a completely different ball game. But yes, I mean, our GDS media team works on this once you have the GDS media campaign running with us. So that's a good gimmick, actually, free of charge service. We add on service. I can say. Thanks, Nadim.
All right, Jembe, thank you. Now the most or one of the important parts, the reason why we have seen the GDS system is for you to know what you need to subscribe to get more information about who books through the GDS, which corporations book through the GDS, how much business each of them gives. So Ines, over to you. please. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So back to me. Lovely. Okay, can someone help me with the sharing of screen? For some reason, I have it grayed out. I'm not sure if someone else is sharing.
No.
I stopped
Not
sharing
from
my
our
screen.
side.
Okay, that's weird because I had it. It looks like I've been blocked from presenting.
Let me check, Ines.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, it's just that now it's grayed out. It was perfect before. Let me see if it is.
Can you try, Ines?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now I can. Thank you so much.
Great.
That's perfect. Awesome. Cool. So, perfect. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we're back to, if you remember, some minutes ago, our customer portal where we can see our occupancy, everything coming from the PMSs. By the way, great questions, very good ones. I will look at the whole bunch later in case I have missed any. Now moving into Agency 360. So, and let me go back in time. Same platform, now going to a different reporting. And now let me take a step back. So when Amadeus Hospitality was Travel Click about 30 years ago, the two gentlemen that built up this company started by sitting with all 4 GDS channels and signing an agreement where every single night we connect into the GDSs, the platform, the channels directly, and receive everything that is hotel transaction, with the exception of guest profiles, of course. Now, this bunch of information, including and going into the most nitty-gritty detail of every travel agency out there, we receive it every single night from every single hotel. Even now, being Amadeus Hospitality, will still receive the data from Travelport and from Sabre, allowing you to understand the big picture of how you are doing on the GDSs against your competition. Now, competition is defined by yourself. And the interesting piece is that now we can, for every hotel that is part of our Demand 360 environment, we can provide you with information from travel agencies and corporations that are trading on the GDSs, but also that we can pick up from your PMSs or central data warehouse via this Demand 360 connection. If you are on our, and your competition are on our Demand 360 database that I mentioned earlier, perfect, we'll drive a lot more information. If you're not, the report will simply show like this. It's going to be GDS only with GDS information and how you are picking up against your competition. 1, 2, or 3 competitive sets defined by yourself, looking at your performance into the future, but also into the past, where you're sitting, where you're heading. You can compare to different time frames. Now, what is the big difference between agency and demand? On demand, if you remember, we were talking about segments and channels and time frames. Demand, agency is more focused on telling you who are the ones that are buying out there, how much they're selling into out there, your competition is selling against your hotel, but especially which are those travel agencies or these corporations where you can steal business from. The platform is kind of easy to use. There are a lot of color codes in here and there, but the essence of it is telling you, looking at the top 25 agencies where you have a negative gap. over the next 90 days? Who are the buyers out there that you are not getting? That is the first question that we give you, or that we answer to you when you get into Agency 360. All of these agencies, and let me go through just the first line. Next 90 days, which is the agency where you have the biggest gap, or what this hotel's biggest gap against their competition? We call it opportunity because it's obviously a little bit of a nicer way. You are selling 365 in, this is a demo hotel in the US, that's why it's all in US dollars, of course, can be in your currency. But the competition is selling 21,000 and they're growing 21,000. They didn't have any business in the past. Moreover, they're also starting business into your market. And that is another addition to Agency 360. You can see how you're doing against your defined competition and your market. When we talk about market, you can even tell the tool, show me different levels of market. Show me the broader market, everything connected to the closest airport. Or show me the area where I am in, and that is the intelligent market. So we have options for everything. Understanding which is the broad business of this agency, or which is the business that this agency is driving in my area. And of course, I can tell you room nights. I can give you, let me move down. I can give you ADR. I can give you pretty much anything that you want. And I can provide you with their contact information just in here. And I can go into details of this travel agency, everything that it's on there. How do they do business? How much their business is concentrated? What kind of business do they bring? They're more focused on corporate, on consortia, on non-negotiated business, ideal targets for a media campaign. Is their business concentrated into one hotel? And that is going to be a tricky one to look at. How this business is concentrated, which are the rate types that they mostly use of the next 13 days, past, future, move as much as you want. How do they do business? Which are the corporations that this agency, travel agency, works with in the past and into the future? And this is the first sort of step to get into corporate information into Agency 360 Plus. By the way, I got several questions around competitive sets, both on demand and agency. You defined your competitive sets. Competitive sets are not made of stone. They can be changed. Of course, we have rules, so there's no reverse engineering because we need to protect everyone's data. But essentially, you can change your competitive set up to once a month if you want to. Now, as I was telling you, the first iteration into knowing which are the corporations that book into your hotel, your competition, or your market. Again, just first line, their names, their URLs. We have gone into further out. Now, keep in mind that at this stage, we're looking at, because we selected just GDSs, if your hotel is connected into our demand database, both agencies and corporate performance can be, data can be taken also from your PMS. Now, let me work a little bit into this, which is the other really, really key piece, especially helping you during RFP season, or even throughout the year, but to get the right business. No. Sorry, is there any question? No. Okay, so corporate performance. It is one of the latest sort of releases within our report. And the corporate performance, what we'll do is telling you which are the corporations that, to the best of our knowledge, we have been able to attribute their business to your hotel or your competition or into your market. In our case, we said, okay, show me the top 25 agencies in my market, which I can sort in different ways. I do have filters everywhere. I can do pretty much whatever I want. I know in this case, and by the way, this demo is a hotel based in Houston, which is very like oil. That's why you have so many oil companies on top. And the interesting piece, let me move it to say just 3. But what I want to show you is that on top of giving you the names, giving you the revenue, the room nights, etc., that they do in your hotel, in your competition, and into your market, which, by the way, you can move everything and say, is this ADR interesting for me? So to capture the right business. But once you do look at perhaps the volume, one of the things that you want to know is, of course, aside from week-on-week pickup, if you have already started discussions with them or want to know if this company is growing, you want to add the travel agencies, names and details that made those bookings. So you can strategically say, okay, and let me expand the screen a little bit, because the list of Exxon travel agencies booking on Exxon is quite long. But you can see that not every travel agency is worth the same in terms of revenue, in terms of room nights, and especially in terms of ADR. And when I move to the right-hand corner, it's like going back, it's like going back to the agency targeting that I've been before. But now, instead of just looking at the biggest agencies, I'm looking at the biggest corporation, and within this biggest corporation, which are the most relevant travel agencies for me. And then in here, you can sort them in the way, really in the way that you want. And of course, you can go back into that same travel agency and see who they are, where are they coming from. And going back and do this kind of reverse engineering precisely, see their entire business, not just their Exxon share. How do they book? Where do they book? And which other corporations they might be booking after. In this case, just Exxon, but there could be many others. So you can go either from the corporation or the travel agencies. I mean, I've been in hotels all my life, and if the revenue manager or the sales manager didn't know a contact in the travel agency, probably the GM will know who the right contact at this or that corporation is based. Last but not least, and this is quite interesting, this is new business as well. We do have vacation rentals, and vacation rentals is made of a partnership with a third party called Key Data, where they provide us with short-term rentals data made of booking, Airbnb, VRBO, etc., etc., etc. Now, let me show you a little trick, the way I use it. Instead of looking at all the numbers, which are a bit heavy, I mean, of course, it's interesting knowing next 90 days, the occupancy comparison to GDSs, the occupancy, sorry, and the ADR compared to the GDSs. What I want to see perhaps is more of a chart view. And why is that? Because this chart view will show me in columns where business is coming from over the next 90 days. And how did this business fare same time last year? Houston doesn't seem to be doing that well. But hey, these are the kind of things that are interesting. Say, for instance, over the next 3 months, there's a concert of an artist that perhaps you don't have a clue. Now, we know that vacation rentals tend to fill in, they have a longer booking windows than hotels, they tend to fill in earlier. And they might be picking up business that you have not had in your radar or your competitors' radars. Well, this is a place where you can find this kind of oddities. Normally, hotel business would go from up to down quite fast. Booking windows tend to be longer. Vacation rentals tend to be much longer. Hence, this kind of unusual business is what might caught your attention. Anything that's out of the normal. I mean, I've just looked at next 90 days in my market in 1 second. You don't need to come here every single day. But what is interesting is that you can see reactions in the market well in advance. Last but not least, Agency has a nice addition called Market Insights. This Market Insights, even if you're not part of our Demand 360 database, we have built it up on every single market where we have enough data or enough hotels sharing their data into our Demand 360 database. We will show you market occupancy information. This is your market against your competition. This market insight is part of our Agency 360 report, kind of a giveaway. You can see up to 6 months into the future from a monthly, a weekly, or a daily perspective, how your market is faring now, year on year, and week on week changes in occupancy for your market year on year. You can then drill down to, even if you want to go specifically into negotiated, and think for much more out there. This is kind of a playground in addition to the report, which is rather new, and it's kind of it's interesting for you to play around with, even if you have not shared your data with us. As long as there's enough hotels sharing data on our Demand 360 platform, this section, Market Insight, will come in to help you navigating the occupancy into your market. Right now, questions, doubts. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
I have taken the questions, Ines, that were coming on the chat, but if anyone has any question they would like to get on the call and ask, please feel free to do so. Yep, Murad Bey.
Hello. Hi. I actually have a statement to our colleagues on the call. Just to support your presentation. Agency 360 is the primary tool to identify those global, especially global corporate accounts during the RFP season, where you are required to prepare and submit business cases. So a lot of the time we end up, Len, I'm sure you'll agree, with business cases of accounts that are not always relevant to your market or to your hotel. So the best tool to look at is to identify the top 5-6 corporate accounts that don't book you but book your competition, and prepare business cases for those accounts. I just wanted to mention that because this is a big piece. Thank you.
Oh no, thank you for your feedback. It's very nice to hear that that's a tool that it's used by our customers. One thing that I wanted to make sure that we have a clear sort of set of expectations. Everything that is corporate, all of these corporation names, are those that, to the best of our knowledge, we have been able to identify through their rate access code normally on GDSs and outside of the GDSs. That doesn't mean that it's all business, because remember that we are looking at a share of business, and those that we have able to identify, those that have been made, or those bookings that have been made using the rate access code. So whatever you identify on Agency 360, quite likely there's more business. So if you do so, Murad, and you identify this business, is exactly the right thing to do. Go after the business that you are not getting. But so for you to know, there are very good chances there is much more business than what you see in here. What you see in here is the basics.
Yeah,
the basic,
agreed.
the for sure.
Agreed.
Lovely. Thank you so much. And there was another, sorry.
Yes, Junaid has a question, so.
Please.
Yeah, hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Junaid. I'm attending this from Karachi, Movenpick Hotel, Karachi. First of all, marvelous presentation, and I cannot agree anything. All the data and everything that you are catching up is great. We as a hotel currently we are not using your product currently, and being in Karachi, it's not a very dynamic environment as like Dubai or other. So we have a very small com set. Now, my question is, because in the initial start of the presentation, when Ines said that when you were showing the reports with regards to the segmentations and channels and everything, that if our competition is using the same system, then we'll be able to utilize this system to our best potential. Now, in the last, when you were showing the Agency 360 reports where the GDS data was being displayed, and we were looking into the different corporation and the travel agencies that are being booked here for the city and the market and for us. I just want to know, for my knowledge, that the last reports, those were picked up from GDS directly, or it has to be with the competition direct?
The data on Agency 360 is, and it's a very, very good and valid question. Thank you so much. The information on Agency 360 is taken primarily from the GDSs, but also if your hotel and your competition are connected to a demand 360 environment, we can also extend to that. But if you're not, and your competition is not, then everything we can extract from the GDSs directly. And one thing that we can do, both for agency and demand, if you're interested in knowing, what's going on, do I have an opportunity, do I have potential, we can run teasers, both on agency and demand. And teasers are a picture of a set period of time to give you an idea on, is there any business, which are the key agencies or the key corporations, or if there's no business, and off we go, right? Nadim, Dimitri, and myself, and Cem.
Yes, Junaid, we can. I'll be more than happy to connect you to your market manager. I'll drop my email address to you, and he can take you through different the different solutions and what are the options available for Demand 360, who's participating in Karachi, and for Agency 360, you can see almost everyone who's participating on the or who's selling on the GDS platform. So can be a competitive set.
That would be great, Nadeem. Thank you very much, and thank you, Ines, for the feedback. I'll wait for the email address to be shared. Thank you.
Thank you. Ines, we also have Natalia, who has a question.
Hey, Natalia.
Audible?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Just a quick question. I'm going through Agency 360, and when I'm checking my agency targeting, I can see that my comp set have all the information and they have the revenue share from various agencies. However, my property has zero, like for example, booking.com or hotel.com, so on and so forth, which is impossible. Is it something to do with the setup, or?
No. It has to do with, and if you go into the report and you start looking from top to bottom, first you have the KPIs, and then you have the questions that you're asking to the tool. And per default, Agency 360, what it's going to show is next 90 days and your top opportunities, those agencies that are not doing, or they're doing more business into your competition. When in your case, and it's a question that I get quite often, Booking.com, same as American Express or Castle Van Gogh, they have different terminals. And it's quite likely that you would see several lines of booking.coms because there are different terminals. And same as it happens with American Express or Carson Wagon Lead, some of these terminals might do book business with you, some others may not. And precisely the goal is in agency per default, letting you know, hey, this is the terminal that is not doing business with you. Go after it.
Okay, perfect. Got it. Thank you so much, Dimitri. Nice to see you again.
Sure. And keep in mind that you do have these filters. If you move from where it says top 25 agency opportunities, click on that filter and you will have surplus. So that would be your positive, the other side of the story, those where you have the biggest gap, or listed by your hotel, by your competition, by your market. You have tons of filters to work around. I didn't want it to overwhelm the team. Last but not least.
I can see it now. You're right.
Lovely.
I can see it now. Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Bottom left of every corner, for those that subscribe, you have a question mark called support. Get in there, subscribe to our learning universe on the very, very first tab. We get a great team of trainers. And of course, this support section has answers to most every single question. And if not, our customer care team and our and myself and our colleagues, my colleagues will be willing to help you.
Thank you, Ines. And I think Anirban also has a question. So Anirban, please, if you have anything to ask.
Yes, how are you doing? Very well. Thank you for the presentation. My question would be regarding the issue that we've been facing from the Opera V22 upgrade to the data not being updated. And as you know, we don't have a direct connection to the to Demand 360. It is through the InTouch data dump. So which you're getting through via the InTouch data. Now, there has been a constant delay in the reporting, and apart from the delay, there is a discrepancy as well in the segmentation level and in the source level. So is there a way that we in the future that we're looking at to solve this issue, or how long will it gonna take?
So we're working very, very closely with a core central data, a core central with Opera and with ITD, because in essence, the problem is that there are some hiccups in the data sharing, and we're all parties working together to ensure that this is streamlined. I can assure you that that is a daily conversation in our team, and we're working very, very closely with all these three parties to ensure that the report goes back to standard. Rest assured, this is impacting all of us, and it's on our A list. I don't unfortunately have an ETA because there are some other dependencies, but for sure, if you can share your contact details with us, we will keep you in the loop.
Right. Okay.
And I'm sorry.
No problem. Thank you very much. It has been going on for a long time now. Okay. My second question would be, now, since you have this GDS search data and you know the GDS traffic and with regards to flight, do you also planning to share some insight on the demand level? How is the future demand going to be on the flight percentage? How it's going to be on the citywide demand drivers for us as a revenue team to factor our forecasting in that piece?
Actually, that's a very good question, Sarkan. And on today's session, I didn't want it to go in a lot of depth within the Man 360. So you may have noticed in your report that we have added, there's a little like globe on the left-hand corner in a tab called Source Market, right,
yes.
right in the left of your screen.
Yes.
Which is giving you the idea of where business is coming from on brand.com for hotel business. So what we are developing, and I trust you're going to keep quiet on that, but I've seen the first iterations and they look really, really nice, is getting a similar information, but on the air side within the Man 360. That is on our roadmap for this year. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping I'm not going to jingle that. But it looks very promising, and it's quite interesting information. There are different, you know, that for airline, there are different sort of point of views because they have these, it's quite different to hotels. They have capacity in stake, and not just origin of business from booking. So there are a bit of moving pieces that we're trying to work out, also to make an interesting, usable, and understandable report. So stay tuned for that, Sarka.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sure. Good question.
Great. So I think that brings us to the end of the questions or Q&A. For this, sorry, I'm not sure what happened to the numbers here, but following, we are at the end of our session. We have discussed agency, demand, as well as we have seen the GDS screens. What you can expect from our side is demand and agency 360 PDFs, presentations, market insights, which is prepared by Ines for Middle East and Africa region, GDS best practices that Dumitru has prepared, and we have some special promos for Amadeus on Agency 360 and as well as something on Demand 360 that will be all shared along with the presentation that you have seen today. So if there is nothing else, then I would really like to thank you very much and thank everyone on the call. Thank you, Len, for organizing it. Thank you, Ines and Dumitru, for presenting. Anything, we are all available. Len has our details. Please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you very much for attending.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Amadeus team. I hope you got what you need from this webinar. Thank you so much. Bye,
Thank you for the
everyone.
questions.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Thank you very much, everyone, for
Bye.
attending. Have a good day.
Bye.